Hello, welcome. Have you played Master of Magic? We have DosBox here set up, and we've got it hooked up so we can play Master of Magic, the classic game from 1994 by Simtex, and produced by Microprose, which you might have heard of. It's a kind of classic game. It's a twist on Master of Orion, but with kind of a Magic the Gathering theme. It's wild stuff. Master of Orion is a kind of Civilization-style game in space. You've probably seen some sequels at some point, maybe, but if you haven't, look it up. So Master Magic is this, it's just you build little cities and you get little heroes and stuff like that. So it's a little similar to Civ, but you get to cast spells and such. Without much further ado, here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, copyright 1995, although Wikipedia says it was released in 94. Oh, but it's probably just this patch.
Old man, you seek the spell of mastery.
You have come. My work has already met with you.
If that is the truth, then your work must stop.
Hot stuff for 94, I'll tell you that. Cool, yeah, so I played a lot of this when I was a kid, I couldn't even tell you how many hours, but it ran on my little computer that I had that was like 80 kilohertz or whatever, megahertz for the CPU. Now we're talking about like, megahertz into the 4000s, long ago. But here we go, let's go ahead and start a new game. Got on easy, it should be fine for this, and everything here looks good. So, the first thing you do in Master Magic is you're going to pick yourself a wizard. And so they've got some fun little pre-built wizards here, like you got just Merlin, just Merlin, lizard guy, guy with hat, Sauron, not Sauron, it's Tauron, for Sauron is a copyrighted, by the Tolkien family. We've got this lady, Freya, she's got this, Norwegian lady, Lopan, you kind of got some, stereotype kind of wizard stuff going on here, but, you can see here there's kind of some different options here. We've got Obrick instead of, Elric. He's clearly like an Elric and Melbourne kind of guy. And then Tylock, Ryjack, just shadowy hood guy, and Kali is, also kind of into big hoods. Look at that collar, geez. But not really, just kind of like I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyhow, we're going to play Freya. She's a good character to start off with. The thing about Freya here, or all of these wizards, is they have books of magic, which will, as you play through the game, you get to research different spells, and what spells you get to research are based on what books of magic you have. So we're going to have a whole bunch of green magic that we can use to pump out some bears and things. We also get Nature Mastery, which I can't really click on here to show what that does, but it just makes it easier for me to cast green stuff. And so she's pretty easy to learn for newbies because she's straightforward, unlike some of the hybrid characters or even the custom wizard. The next thing we gotta do is we gotta pick an available race. We have to pick arcane races and none of the Mirren races, because one thing about this game is that there is two world maps. There is a kind of overworld map, which is the Arcanian, whatever, and then Mirren, which is kind of like the mirror of the same place, where magic is much more freely available and everything is harder and there are more monsters. So we can't pick any of these because we need a special ability called Mirren in order to start in the Mirren races. Usually, never mind. Hey, let's see. First thing we're going to do here is, so we're going to pick one. You can see here, if you right-click on these, you get some different options here. These aren't going to really make any sense if you haven't played the game, but there's just a list of buildings that every race gets access to, except that certain races can't build certain buildings, but they'll be able to build like special units, which you can't see here, to make up for that. Like barbarians get berserkers. They also build really fast, so they got lots of extra pop growth, and you can see that they get some stats for your farmers and workers. Rebels. That's what happens when you have your too much population and too much unrest. Alright, so then you got like gnolls and halflings. Halflings make more food, but they can't build like a ton of things. So you end up like with a really like short city, like not many big high advanced tech buildings, all that. For this one, we can pick like just orc. Orc is actually the like generic race that can do everything, weirdly enough, compared to like usually they pick things like, you know, the humans to be the generic race, but actually they can't build fantastic stables, which actually makes them a little bit more advanced than the or a little more funky, a little twerky. Is twerky a word? I guess it is, but it's not what I mean. They're a little more weird than the normal vanilla. Yeah, like Hyman can also build paladins and stuff. All right, so we're just gonna pick orcs because not to get too fancy with it. Pick the green banner. No benefit for these banners, just neat colors. Just what color do you want in your background? Yep. Ah, there we go. Our starting city of Grunk. Cool. So we got a... So this is kind of a complicated game here, and the resolution isn't quite perfect here. I'm not actually that great at figuring out how like all the knobs and levers for DosBox work, so this is about what we get. It's a pretty complicated game. All these units have like different stats and stuff like that. Like, you know, you get your melee, you got your armor. These are actually like dice, and so every time you send this swordsman to attack, you're gonna roll like 3 dice to attack, and you get like each of these is a D10 secretly, and if you get a 8 or above, you hit with that attack. Meanwhile, the enemy, right, they're going to roll their armor dice, right, and so they're going to roll, like, the same stat. It's like you roll D10s and you get 8s up and you block. Stuff can modify that, like, for instance, you can get magic weapons and such, which have better to hit and all that. And then you've got, like, resistances against spells and things, and then hit points. Like, this is actually a 6-figure unit, and so each one of them has 1 hit, and so each of these units actually rolls for 3 dice. So this is like an 18 attack unit, really, with 6 hit points. And as you lose hit points, the strength of your unit goes down. And these guys also have like large shield, which gives them extra bonus dice against ranged attacks. So like, predominantly what you do here, right, is you're going to build up your little city, right? You got a cute little map here, like, oh, there's my fortress, there's my barracks, got a little builder's hall there. We got some, you can see that there's some people here farming, some people working. So right now we're making some food, and we've got some production and magic and whatnot. We're going to change them from building housing to build a granary. So like, you can build all these different things. They give you statistical benefits. Certain buildings will increase your ability to build different units. Like right now you can build some engineers. You can pave some roads. Settlers, you know, if you've played any Civ game, you've like this in every Civ game. And then you can build some basic units here. So we're just going to build a granary because we want to get our population growth going up here. Population, every time you get hit a multiple of 1,000, you get another little unit here to work on stuff. There you go. It's basically just says what I just said. And there's of course like some enchantments. You can cast spells on different cities to give them benefits and stuff like that. But okay, we're gonna hit that. So like, so you've got the city building thing, right? And then you've got these little army units, right? We're gonna patrol with one here. You never know when some, you know, random monster is gonna attack your city. And then you get to explore around the map. You can just click over here. Oh yeah, okay, then we have to pick like a spell to learn. There's all sorts of stuff here. Transmute's really good because you can turn various kinds of things into like better materials. Like you can turn coal, which gives you production bonus, into gems, which just gives you money. Money is just kind of better than production in this game, I think. But I'm not an expert on this or anything. We're just gonna pick something down here. Dispel magic's not great, but other characters love to trade for dispel magic, and it's easy to learn. So then we can just move into this little fort here. Nope. So, as you find these little ruins on the map, which you can loot for gold and spells and stuff, you occasionally get into this one where here, well, most of these are going to be guarded by monsters, right? So we could say, oh, do you want to fight the sprites that are guarding this place? No, because we have the worst unit in the game just wandering around, so we're going to just kind of vicariously try to wander from ruin to ruin and see if any of these are unguarded. Like zombies. No, we'll come back for you, though. That's actually a good target for our first army. And so, like, this guy has a unit move of 1. Never mind, some of these terrain types here, like mountains and hills and stuff, will cost more move to get into, right? So this guy pretty much just limps around the map one space at a time for now, but... so we have to hit next turn a lot, but... you can see here we're gaining gold and mana per turn. These are like resources we can use to spend on building buildings or units really quickly. And magic is what we're going to use to spend on our spells, which we can cast. Like right now we can cast a wall of stone if we want, which is like just a building you can normally build, the city wall, but like this will build it faster, or at least with a different kind of resource. So that's kind of fun. Magic spirits, everyone gets this. Like it's a thing you can create to take control of a node of magic, which you can find on the map. We'll hit one of those eventually. And we've got like just war bears because we're green. You know, we get some sprites. You know, we can actually summon our own sprites that were guarding that other place we just saw. So if we want, we can just like field an army of sprites to go and attack stuff. But what we're going to do is we've got enough mana to summon war bears, or at least we don't have them yet. We have 12, and we're making 3 a turn. So we can slowly work our way up to the war bears, which you can just throw into some fight. Interestingly enough, also, stuff like the war bears, can't really see the unit stats there. We'll get to that in a second, but magical creatures actually can't gain experience, and units can actually gain experience in this game too. So like right now, he's a recruit with 5 experience, right? And every turn he's around, he's going to gain like an extra experience point, and then when he fights battle, he's going to gain more points there too. But he'll actually level up. All your units can level up in this game. It's just super zany for a game that came out in '94. Alright, so skeletons now. This patch of water here is actually one of those nodes of magic we were talking about. These are really hard to take over, so we're not even going to try looking there. Alright, so we're going to handle it. I'm going to switch over our workforce a little bit. And then we'll start working on, let's see, Marketplace. Marketplaces give you bonus income, so that'll be useful when we're trying to field larger units. So right now, see, we're like basically bankrupt. Okay, so we've got a random event. Zaldron the Sage has come over and says, hey, I noticed you have enough money to hire me. Do you want to hire me? And so, like, he's got some range attacks, which is pretty neat. He has a magical base attack, so like sometimes units can have a magical base resistance. So like different like elemental types, kind of. He's just basically rubbish in combat. You want to just shoot with ranged. He's a sage, right? So he'll actually contribute spell research every turn. He'll help us out, and then he can actually cast his own spells. His range attack actually costs mana to use, but if we learn some spells we can throw that in combat, he can actually cast them for us without spending our own mana. So we're actually going to hire him. He's not a bad first guy. So now we're at a deficit in our income. So let's see what we're going to do over here. We move this guy over here. So we're actually losing money per turn now because his income is upkeep here. He doesn't cost any food, but he costs money, right? So we're going to go into this other panel here. I haven't even shown you what all these panels look like, but you've got different options in here for the advisors. Surveyor tells you like how much like population you can expect to max out on if you build a city in that spot, which is really, really useful. And then we've got here cartographer, kind of just shows you a big map. Apprentice, yeah, you can go back here and change what research you're working on. You can remind yourself what you're working on. You've got historian, just going to tell you like a little, you know, how well you're doing so far based on all the other players you've seen. Astrologer, and it's like, okay, here's another different way of calculating your stats, like how well you're doing towards victory. Chancellor, there weren't any random events this month. And then, let's see, tax collector. This is actually the thing what we're looking here for. So we can actually, we generate money based on how hard we're taxing our population. And like we can dial it down, we can dial it up. I like to go up to 1.5, like right at the beginning of the game. But so like this basically says every 1,000 people in our city, like one little worker unit, gets us 1.5 gold, right? So we had like 4 guys in our city, so now we'll get 6 gold instead of 4. But however, 30% of our people will be rebels. It's just like flat out, and we can reduce that by getting buildings built like temples and such. They'll reduce unrest. But oh, actually, we are kind of in a weird spot here because we just flipped one of our guys over to rebels. Alright, so we keep the marketplace going. So maybe we just dial us back down. It's a little too early to hire Zaldron, I guess. Okay, so we got... How are we gonna get enough money to solve this problem? I think we need to actually dismiss our swordsman. And then that'll give us like a little bit of turn time. So maybe we can find some gold in the next couple turns here. For lucky. Heroes have a base movement of 2, so this guy can go a little faster if he steps into a plain spot. Well, there's some gold, but we have to build a city over to get the benefit of that. Yeah, so it's a tricky game. Oops. Not necessarily the most forgiving. Oh no. I actually wanted to route to dial back his move in there. You can have gone auto path guys to, you know, move over a series of turns. So there's our warbears. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we had zombies down here. What was it? We had skeletons, zombies, and sprites. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and take on these... Oops. Try and take on these skeletons for money. Get them to stack up as a unit here. Okay, so we got the 2 of them together. And we'll just go into combat. Oh, cool. Alright, so there could have been like 9 skeletons, or just one little group here. So we actually lucked out here. Aside from skeletons, they like have tons of kinds of immunities and whatnot. Old school kind of roleplay thinking, right? Like, they're made out of bones, so how can arrows hit them? Yeah, they're just immune to missiles. But thankfully we got some bears. So in combat, right, you actually move around. So you can spend your movement points to like go places, and also your movement points to make attacks. So we'll hit them there with a ranged attack, try and soften them up. You actually get hit penalties the farther away from the unit you are. So we may actually want to get Zeldrin a little closer before we use his other attack. He's only got 4 magic points left. Nope, didn't get there. They don't have immunity magic. We just didn't roll any hits. Oops. Kind of clicked in the wrong spot there. So we got some options here, like we've got auto, where our guys will just automatically rush her into combat and start smashing each other. Can't throw spells because we don't have any mana to do anything. Wait, you can have them like move later. I guess not. Yeah, these guys already moved, so there wasn't any other units to wait on. Done, you can just like end their action early, or flee, which you just try to leave from combat, which often has attrition penalties. You might just lose random units from your fight. I think we're gonna be fine though here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, triumph. That's exactly what we wanted. Well, not exactly, but we wanted some money. And we also cleared the ruin off the map, so the skeletons can spawn out of ruins and stuff. Some of these guys can just decide to leave and go attack your city. So It's a good thing we got that out of the way. Might actually try to go over here and fight these zombies, even though they're a little bit harder. Which mostly right now you know for experience. This game actually had like something like a 100-page manual with like all of a comprehensive list of unit stats and spells and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on under the hood. Alright, we're just gonna get in there. Well, okay, that's sprites. We want to let our bears heal up too. Sprites are a little rough because they can fly, and so eventually they'll get into melee with you, and you can't get back into melee with them, so you have to just defend and counterattack every time to take them out unless you got some range attacks. So, got our Dispel magic. We're gonna learn Earth lore here, which, not really explaining all these things here. There's just a lot of things going on here, so you can kind of like pause and look at some of these descriptions if you're interested. But we're learning Earth lore because it helps us reveal the map faster. So we're just gonna hit done and wait for them to heal up. Giant spiders are super rough, at least in the beginning, because they can lock down your units and then you can't attack back. We have some extra food, so let's alright, adjust here. Food extra. So if we have a food deficit, we actually start losing units. Extra food that we don't spend doesn't go anywhere or do anything. So we kind of want to be as close to 0 as possible. We're about to finish our marketplace. Is good. We'll probably work on a shrine next or something. We should actually send our spearmen back to home base because we actually don't have anyone defending the city right now. And I think actually, if I read this right, yeah, we leveled up our unit here actually. So our spearmen, right? They got to regular status, and they gained like an extra attack point. These normally start with just 1 melee each, but there's like 8 of them, so you roll like 8 dice. But now they're rolling 16 dice, so just that much better. All right. We'll wait one more turn. Cute little music. The music in this game is great, by the way. It's actually produced by the Fat Man of Seventh Guest fame, and a bunch of classic titles in back in the day. I can't remember what his real name is, but I figured if he uses a nom de plume, that it's not that big a deal. I shouldn't look into it. Alright, so Farmer's Market, we can add more food. It's like a bigger version of the granary, and actually it'll replace the granary but stack with it, so that's a big bonus. We're going to do the shrine, I think, which reduces our unrest and gives us more mana per turn. And then also allows us to build things like a bigger temple, or bigger shrine, and also a shaman unit, which is a good basic unit. That'll take us a little bit to do. No big deal. Alright, so we're going to attack this ruin here. Hope there's not like a million guys in here. Okay, it's just 1 unit. Sweet. Alright, so we're just gonna hit Zaldrun done. Push these guys in the battle. Interestingly enough, like the whole concept of units having experience values, but these magic guys not having any experience, is kind of like means that you feel like you can throw the warbears or other similar units into battle with impunity. They're just kind of like your first wave. You know, if they die, they die, whatever. You feel like a little bit burned out that you spent all that mana that you have to respend, but you get way more invested in units with experience, and because you want them to be big boys someday. You want them to get to all the sweet stat increases. Heroes, by the way, can equip different items to boost up their stats even further. Might get into that a little bit later. Oh, look, Zaldrun actually hit. He actually dealt damage. 1 point. Yeah, he's not very good right now, but I'll get better someday. Ideally, we want to soften up guys as much as possible before really getting into the meat of it. I don't really want to get Zaldrun in there if I can avoid it. He's kind of like just garbage in combat. The single zombie might take him out. Yeah, there we go. Nice. 50 gold. Ah, nice. So now that he's got a level in him, you can see his stats just went way up, as well as he has all of his abilities increased as well. So now he's researching better every turn, as well as he can now cast 5 attacks per combat instead of 2. Which is quite a difference there. Let's see, so yeah, we'll just have them move together. I keep trying to move the mouse around by left clicking, but I forget that you have to like right click to move the map around. Alright, well, we'll go up here actually. Grunk. Yeah, so like, we didn't actually explain all these menus. It's just a general game menu. You save. There's my name. Save. You can open up some additional options too, pretty much any time. It's kind of funky, right? Normally, like, the Civ games these days make you pick a lot of these options before you start the game, but you can actually just turn them on now. Like, for instance, there's the random events are on. We can turn those off if we want to at any time. And then all sorts of different other options. Okay. Let's see. So spells, I think we've seen this, where you can cast your stuff that you learned. We've got some unit spells. So for instance, we could enhance our bears by giving them some elemental resistance. We actually have to spend mana every turn to maintain that enchantment, though. It's a lot like your auras from Magic, or your creature enchants if you're an old school player. Enchant creatures? Enchant creatures, yeah. Giant strength, you just get some bonus attack and stuff like that. Lots of, water walking is a really useful one, actually, because you can cause a unit to go right over the seas. Right now, we're kind of boxed in on this little island. We don't know how big this is, but sometimes you just get locked in. And so water walking is really useful for that. Oh, we're actually at a food deficit, darn. So we'll actually switch them over to make more food. Each of these workers, by the way, also consume a food. Let's see, we have armies. You have army management screen, our upkeeps, and then here's Zaldrin. You can just find him on the map instantaneously if you need to, or you can open up his stats from here. Let's see. I think also in the armies panel, you've got the items section, which you can attach the items you found to your heroes that you've got. You can have up to 6 heroes. Cities, you just like can find your cities really easily. Magic. It's like a little resource management panel where, like, if you found other wizards in the game, your opponents are going to show up here. It'll show you all the overland things. Like, for instance, you can have enchantments that are running in the game that just affect the entire game. Like, random meteors just start falling, or the power of black magic is just reduced throughout the entire game. These are all overland enchantments tend to be pretty saucy, but they tend to run take a ton of mana to run. Some of the really big spells in the game are overland enchantments, and like blue magic has a stasis ability where it just freezes like everything and you can't gain mana. But it's essentially gives you a bunch of free turns. Some of the abilities in this game are really nutty. You can also adjust your stats here, like, so for instance, this is the amount of mana we're getting per turn. We could reduce our research. So like, for instance, if I want to lock our skill, we can start funneling research into mana per turn. We can also funnel into skill. So like, this is how much mana we gain per turn. This is how much research you get in turn. Skills, how much mana we can spend in combat, I think, if I remember correctly. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, it dictates how much mana you can channel into spells each turn. Okay, yeah. So it's like, so for instance, if we had 200 mana and 3 skill, we can only spend 3 of our mana into our spells each turn. So like, when we're casting a spell like Warbears, we get to spend a big chunk up front with some multiplier of our skill, I think, and then we spend 3 mana a turn to keep paying off this 39 MP. Right, so you can't just like summon units from nowhere instantaneously unless you have a really high skill. But we can mess around exactly what kind of stats we want. Like, so for instance, we may decide that we don't want to cast a lot of spells, but we want to shoot up the research tree, or maybe we just want to be able to. We're done doing a lot of research and we're casting something huge, and we just start pumping our skill up really quickly. You can also transfer gold, and this is a gold to power, but it really should be mana. You can transfer, so for instance here, I can just eat my gold that we've got and make free mana, or we can alternatively take the mana we've got here and turn it into gold at a 2-to-1 ratio. So if we just need a bunch of money, which earlier we did actually, we could have, if we had a bunch of mana, we could have just thrown it into gold that way. It kept us going. And then there's the info panel, which you've seen. And then there's the plane panel, actually, which actually swaps to the other map. We don't see anything because we don't have any information on the other map yet. Alright, so wait. Yeah, cool. So there's the different things you can do with these different tabs up here. Looks like we may have found like the borders of our little island. We're playing on the medium land size, but the game does tend to be like a series of islands for the most part. Unless you're playing on like huge or large, so then you can get large land masses that just span the entire map. We're playing on easy, so we don't have to defend our city too hard. Oh, I found another little place to go to. Now there's our shrine done. So cool, now our rebel is now, he's like, oh cool, I'm more chill now that you have priests roaming the streets, you know, tamping in aggression and, and sedition. It's a little bit, I never really know what to think about the shrine in this game. It's like, if it were playing Civ, it would be like something like circuses and stuff, like people are happier and so they don't want to rebel. Well, in this game you've got shrines, which I guess send out like a Gestapo to just make sure that rebels are quashed. Alright, so I think what we might want to do is create some... Well, actually we need to get on a settler at some point, so we'll start doing that. Ah, there we go. So it's just abandoned, so we just get whatever's inside. It's good times. I accidentally clicked on the wanton space in the map, so we're going to be heading over this way. Yeah, I mean, we could go back and eventually try to fight these sprites. So at least we can hook up with that settler when eventually it gets built. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to go that there. So we need to figure out where exactly we're going to put our new city. We thankfully can't put it up here. The AI characters, or opponents, like to just shove cities in every location they can find. So, like, having little nubs like this means eventually that an enemy will settle in that spot. And then you'll have to take the city, and then now you'll have a little city in that spot. So it's like one of the... Normally in the more modern Civ games, you want to... pack in your cities a little tighter than the normal, but this one you kind of want to spread out a little bit more, I think. The river mouth over here is a really great spot. You get a lot of population production from rivers and such. There's like a neat area up here too with the gold, so we might try to like shove one up here and shove one down here. We kind of want to count like 3 spaces away to see like what over here would be our building spawn. We just drop it right on this mountain if we wanted to. Okay, so yeah, let's just go build something right here. Oh, we'll assign that in a second. Yeah, Earthler. Alright, what do I want now? Change terrain is a really good basic green spell. It's like the bread and butter spells of green, or like mess around with the map. Okay, we're gonna go over here. Actually, we needed to move them back earlier. That's fine. We can limp around for a turn. Gronk's back up to 6. Every time you build cellar, you lose a pop, which, you know, standard Civ stuff. Alright, so where is our city gonna be built over here? Yeah, it's like not a bad spot there. That's within 3. There's also the spot here, right here. 14's not bad. There's a 15 right there, though. We're not gonna get to build on the 50? No, we might be able to. Oh, whatever. The big thing is we want to make sure we cover this spot over here, because we don't want to build any cities in the desert. So we might actually want to build one space to the left just to make sure that we get more real estate over here. But, yeah, let's just go for it. Right on the river mouth. Oh, and we forgot to change this from settlers, so we're building another thing. Alright. Cool. Well, that's fine. Send that one up there. Yeah, Toror. So new cities start off as outposts, and they gotta build up to their first like 1,000 population before you get to do anything with the city. So we're gonna patrol the bears there, and we're gonna send what's his face, Zaldrun. How could I forget? All the way up here. The settler is no longer functioning, so we get our income back, our upkeep. All right, so now that we've got a thing here. Yeah, so like these spaces here are going to be half for both cities if we drop it right on the gold. And so that'll definitely diminish the amount of population that this will recalculate stats based on like the city that plops down there. We'll put this right here. Oops. Yeah, okay. Patrol. So we can just have him sit there and not worry about it. Go to our top. Alright. Alrighty, so we can push this back into work. Oh, Torgar has already turned into a hamlet because there's so much population growth from all these rivers. So we'll keep it on housing. Oops, next turn. So housing, when you pick housing, it just means that you put your production units into increasing the city's pop. Let's see, you can also build some of these early buildings. Just like, because it's an outpost, it has no buildings currently, so we can't do anything. And these just exist to open up future buildings that you could then put more stuff down. Like, for instance, the marketplace, you need to have a smithy first. And our first city that we started at the beginning of the game has all these basic buildings built. Oh yeah, we have a shipwrights guild option because we're on the water. So that's a good reason why we want to build there. We can also start working on a builder's hall, which reduces our population growth a little bit, but gets us done sooner. Oh, you can also just turn our production straight into gold, which is useful when you're done with a city. Yeah, we'll just have it do pop for a second. The exciting game of pushing the next turn button. Alright, so we got another farmer's market, so it'll grow faster, and then we can work on a sawmill or a library. So libraries like increase your research. Temples, more mana, more unrest reduction. Miners Guild, you just increase like the production of the city by a huge amount, and also the mineral bonuses. It costs a lot. It's hard to build at first, but like it's a pretty sweet building once you get it done. It's usually when you build a new city, you'll like put money into Miners Guild. Stables for some cavalry type stuff. You just build the city walls if you want to. We might actually just like drop some shaman into our stuff. They have a huge upkeep cost though. Yeah, we can swing it though. That's fine. So we're making more food than we need, but we oh, actually we could reduce this further. Typically, you can't. There's like a lower limit to how many farmers you can have, or an upper limit. Yeah, like so. This dividing line means that it can't take this last guy away from farming. He has to stay a farmer. To micromanage just a little bit. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're actually just gonna hit him to patrol here. Oh, okay. So we have a new opportunity to hire a new hero. This guy's a melee guy. He's got leadership, which It boosts the attack strength, not range strength, of all the units in the combat, which is neat. He has Throne, so he'll actually try and attack for 3 dice before going into actual combat, so you can defeat units like early there. Turn 3 is just kind of a... I don't know. Sometimes it's useful, but it doesn't usually come into much. It's usually more like, it ends up being like, oh, instead of throwing 6 dice, you have 9. I think we'll reject him, actually, because our goal is, we're going to be building Shaman, mostly. Cool. So, guarding that city, 1 experience point turn, slowly works his way up to another level. Alright, so we've got a couple Shaman here. Alright, so... Oops, I did it again. We actually want to take Zaldron, and we're going to take this Spearman, which is now level 2. Take Zaldron, it's level 2, and swap their positions. Yeah, let's Spearman here, right? He's veteran now, right? You can get up to a higher status here. Yeah, so you need 120. Eventually, these normal units cap out on how much experience they can have. So they have like a limit of a certain number of levels. Oh. Heroes can go higher though. So magic, sure. So all magic has just been drained. So like, patrol. So like right now we're going to see that this is going to disappear as an income real quickly. Yeah, there you go. So now we're negative because of our bears, and we're draining our surplus of magic that we had. Mana Short, they don't run for too long, so we should be okay. Alright, we're at a negative gold income again. Take all these guys, and we're going to go after those sprites over there. We're going to save because we have no idea how many sprites are in there. Sometimes there can actually be multiple monsters in ruins, and so there could be like sprites could be like the first unit in the stack, but there might be like bigger monsters underneath it. Yep, and that's exactly why we didn't want to fight the sprites right off the bat, because they just wiped out one of our units right away, right? Thankfully, sprites don't have a lot of hit points. They're just like really heavy hitters. So it's the sad times are you're gonna lose stuff just by attacking them most often. So just try and soften these guys up. Shaman come in. Oh, they didn't have a spell. Priests can cast a heal spell for free every combat. They also heal up the unit faster if they are already surviving units. Corruption's a thing that can occur from spell effects or not. Alright. Goodbye. Terrible. Alright, so they're out of attacks, so they're just going to rush us. We've got a few more left, so that's good. Zaldron survives alone. Nice. So we just get the Ice Belt spell for free, which is a big reason why you want to take on big targets like that. And just free spells and also artifacts. So we can cast Ice Bolt in combat as an extra attack sort of thing. Go to our opposite hamlet now. Oh, that guy's getting kind of chunky. Yep, that's good. Alright, so now they've got a couple units. We can switch them over. Yeah, we're just going to keep producing more Shaman because we need to replenish there. Alright, we're going to have them patrol for a bit until we build up more units. Alright, so we got another hero option. She's another ranged character, but she's kind of a thiefy, it says the thief right there, yeah. But she's got like agility and stuff like that, which she gets, her defense just gets higher and higher. And Charmed never fails a resistance roll. This is like a really sweet ability, actually. Some spells are completely negated when you resist them, and some are just reduced. So she can't be affected by certain things like sleep. Yeah, I don't know. Sure. She'll do for now, at least. There you go, the mana shard's ended. Alright, so now I think what we're going to do is, because we all got all this mana going here, we're going to cast some spells. So, Earthlore, let's go on. We're going to just go over... Oh, actually, we know this is at the bottom of the map, because you can go any further. So we'll just hit one over here. Sweet, so now we can see there's some landmass nearby where we can, like, start attacking these neutral locations here. Let's work on another Earthlore. So, actually, if we switch over to the other plane here, we can cast out in this plane. And just reveal that there's, you know, some weird stuff over here. You can see, like, the other side of things, the other half of the coin. So there's a bunch of more ruins, whatnot. You can get bigger, chunkier for things, like you get this quark crystal, which just can't appear on the Arcaden map, which provides mana and power. Let's see, there's the Mirren races, like trolls and stuff, show up over here. Trolls are really wacky. They like regenerate and stuff, so they can actually like come back from death potentially if they die. They can also heal faster and stuff like that. Trolls can't build a lot of things though. They're kind of like the super barbarian, as it were. There's also like dark elves and stuff. All the Mirren races also generate mana intrinsically. They're just made of mana, so that's a pretty neat feature. It's a lot of incentive for picking a Mirren race, although it takes a lot of spellbooks to buy Mirren as an ability. You kind of get like a number of like spellbook points to purchase books, and then you can spend whatever books you don't want, or rewind that. You can pick abilities instead of books, so you can have a character, a wizard, that's just like jammed with abilities and has like no spellbooks, which is wacky and not recommended for beginners. It's usually something you would do when you want to kind of intentionally have no spells to learn, which means that all the generic spells in the game have to come up earlier, and then you can start working on things like the spell mastery. Yeah. Alright, let's go with Transmute. So yeah, spell mastery. How do you win this game? We haven't even talked about that. So if you find all the 4 enemy wizards and defeat them, then you win. Or you can just cast the spell mastery, which is we haven't had any chance to learn yet. It's a kind of like the science victory, as it were. You only have 8 spells you can choose from here to see, and like you have to learn one of these 8 spells before you can pick anything else. It's kind of a neat system to keep you from like immediately targeting the best spells you want or whatnot. You kind of have to work your way through the basic stuff. But once you learn the spell mastery, which takes a huge amount of research points, and then you cast it, which takes a huge amount of time as well, you just automatically win the game. So it's like there's definitely an incentive to turtle in this game, and just watch your opponents try to beat your cities and not be able to. Alright, so we're going to take like all of these guys, and we're going to go over to this node, I think. Yeah. Ooh, food. Make some more food for the time being. Change. Let's just start working on the sawmill, actually. We got some forest around here, so it's good. And I think we're going to change terrain. We're going to change some of these mountains into hills, which are a little more, a little better for increasing the population of our city. Alright, just start working on stuff. So, let's try this one. Nice. So just permanently alter the landscape. So you got a max of 20 now. That's cool. I'll try to show you what it looks like when you do that to a slick city like over here. We can turn this into a hill, and we'll watch the maximum pop rise. Alright, so we saved, right? We saved? Let's save again. Let's see. I think we're going to kind of go until we find some wizard out there. Kind of see the interaction with them. Alright, so we found a sorcery node, so it's a blue mana node, and so we're going to fight some blue mana creatures when we're in there. Phantom Warriors are not bad. Not bad at all. There's a lot of them, though. Phantom critters, they tend to have low hit point totals, but high attack. So the glass cannons. Phantom Warriors, they, it's actually a card from Magic back in the old days. So they have, all the Phantom guys have non-corporeal, which means that they move through things faster, and then they also have illusion, which means they can ignore armor. So that's the big scary part about Phantom Warriors. So they get into combat with you, and none of these shields will matter whatsoever. And, you know, this is a 4 health unit. So we don't want that to happen. Alright, so just start softening things up. She's gonna be pretty bad in this fight. So our goal here in combat, I think, in this combat, is to get some of these guys down to as small stacks as possible. Like, we want to get like 2 guys in a stack if we can manage it. And just do as much winnowing of these enemy forces as possible. But we also don't want to run out of range attacks, right? So we want to make sure to get at least something on everything, because these full stack of warriors here, they're going to wreck us pretty good if they get into combat. Let's do one more. Alright. I should have attacked the one that's closer to us for a lot of reasons. But we'll do that now. Let's see. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to maybe start moving around. Alright, well, the shaman are out of juice. Zaldran's got several more he can fire off. Alright. Attack and back away. I should have moved to Zaldran out, but he'll be fine. Alrighty, well, Zandra, he's not dead yet. We'll get him in the back lines there so he can do some more damage. Oh, we just lost our shaman, just that easy. That's fine, we can lose 1 or 2, that's okay. Nice. So we gain Fame. Fame is a useful stat. I'll tell you what that does in a second here. Free spell. So Conquerors have a stoning ability, which it's one of those magic abilities where you need to resist against, or you just start losing units automatically. So it's pretty sweet. It costs a ton to maintain these guys though. So this is like a beefy unit. We're probably going to try and make a couple of, just because like we can send if they fly. They're beefy. It's like a good, you know, mega unit we can throw at things. We're gonna cast a magic spirit though here. Oh, nice. She leveled up. So there's our creepy magic spirit. It's just this skeleton thing. And it looks like a spooky ghost when you finally summon it. So magic spirits have this ability called Melded Node, which allows you to start draining that node for mana. It's not a finite resource, but it'll just start generating mana for us every turn. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we're just going to take all these guys and go somewhere. We're going to go up here. Alright, so Meld. So we've got these. Each of these squares is now generating like half a point of mana for us, or something like that. We actually, anyone can come by and take over this node if they want to with another magic spirit. There's a stronger spell called Guardian Spirit, which I think is a white spell only, which can defend itself against other magic spirits as they try to meld in. So like it's like one of the bread and butter spells of white is be able to take over nodes and keep them without having to like park a unit on top of it. Because like these nodes are, you know, hotly contested. Enemy wizards will try and take them over before they try and take over like lots of things. But right now it's fine. Like nothing's gonna attack it. We don't even know of any nearby other players, so I'm not concerned. And if they decide to wander out of nowhere and make themselves apparent, we can start fighting back. Okay, some random islands. Okay, so let's get in here. More sprites. Let's just go for it. Yep, well, that's a bummer. We also have some bears in here. That's probably pretty rough. They actually have a bonus for defending this node. You see what these like little gold icons are? They're being enhanced in some capacity. All right. We'll just have her wait. All right. Well, okay. We actually need to flee here at this point. Yeah, so that was a bad attack. We lost all our shaman, but our heroes are fast enough to get away, it seems. Okay, so we can make bowmen now, which are actually a kind of a... They're looking kind of weird. There's 6 of them, right? So they get 6 dice by default compared to their shamans, which get 2 dice, but there's only 4 of them, right? So they're also a little bit cheaper. Shaman are just kind of like a more advanced unit. Let's build an engineer before we do much else. Let's shove these guys over here. We can switch them over from housing. Yeah, so smithy is usually a good choice after that. Because you want to get your marketplace up so you can then build your farmer's market. We have a lot of food being generated right now because we don't have any units going. We can diminish that a little bit. We got another rebel in there. It's not a big deal. Oh yeah, we're going to show you what the population difference was here. So 14. Let's see. Change terrain. We're still working on that. Yeah, so the gold just stays right there, right? But now it's. We got 15. We reduced our production bonus by a tad. You can kind of see here that the grassland give you 1.5, and these hills give you half a food and some production, whereas in the mountains just give you production, right? So you can see like half a food is like a better trade-off, I think. It also means that you can have a bigger city, which means you have more people anyway, so you're not going to miss that production very much. Alright, so now that we have an engineer, we can start building roads. So we're just going to go right here. So it's going to slowly wander across the map, making an easier path for us to get our units around. Oops, we accidentally made an extra engineer. Alright, temple. So what we can do here, though, is we can... let's see. We'll just have them walk over here. We'll have them start on a road that goes off to this outpost up here. And I think what we're going to do is cast Earthlore again. Aha, so there is one of our enemy wizards. They're playing nomads, and they are expanding out. There you go, there's their Horus's Fortress there. It looks like their first city was actually pretty small. It's in a wacky spot, because they only have 3 units here. Or maybe they're just so busy on expanding that they never bothered to build up the capital. So we'll get introduced to him in a second. I think we actually have to like approach their capital or whatever to make friends or whatever. So we're gonna go over here. Great. Alright, let's get you working on Marketplace. Over here. Let's just finish this off. Yeah, so weirdly enough, if you just buy it outright, it'll cost you a whole bunch of money, right? 160, right, for this 14 turn there. Keep that in mind. We're gonna hit next turn. Alright, and then we go back in here, buy it, and it costs a lot less. Not just because we built half a turn, like 1/14th of the cost, but when you build something outright in this game, for some reason it's just way more expensive than if you spend a single turn letting it build up. So we can kind of fast build some of these cities. Get some more mana production going. We're gonna start working on our cockatrices, I think. Go say hi to Horus. Alright, temple. So eventually we have to build an Animus Guild. Now we've got a temple down. Oh, we get a forest guild. This is just stats, basically. We get the Parthenon, which is another bigger temple. Oracle Cathedral. So like these are both like this is like basically a temple, and this is like a weird like expands your radius of influence sort of thing, and then makes it easier to repair the land. I think it's been a while since I played this game, but we're gonna build a library now. Bad moon. Alright, so if we were evil, we're kind of, so if the red, blue, there's 5 colors, right? Red, blue, green, white, and black. So if we were playing black in any combination, we would get a benefit from the bad moon. And if we were playing white, we'd be penalized. And there's a reverse, there's like a good moon that does the opposite. But right now we're just kind of unaffected because we're in the middle somewhere. So Sage's Guild, more research, allows use of Nightshade. So if you can have Nightshade near your cities, and that can help you resist spell effects. What are we doing? Miner's Guild seems like an alright choice here at this point. Just make everything else go faster. There we go. Our murder chickens. So we got like 4 of them, right? They got an okay attack here. They got a bonus to hit, so actually they hit on 7s up, like so it's a 40% chance to hit instead of a 30% chance. And then the stoning touch, right? So they have to make a resist at -3 or return to stone, and that happens. I think so. Touches as you're doing the attack exchange. They get to do a counterattack. There's a stoning gaze, which is like a prior to the exchange sort of thing. It's like a first strike. Alright, so we're just gonna fly these across the ocean here. I don't know where we're going with that. Oh, we also didn't explain fame, so let me show that here. So here's our mirror. I actually never showed you the mirror here. Or Grand Vizier. Grand Vizier is actually an option here that just will automate all of your buildings. So if you just want to play this game without actually doing the Civ part, that's an option in this game. So right here we've got Fame. Alright, Fame actually, so it decreases the amount you need to pay for troop maintenance by 1 gold each for each Fame point. In addition, more powerful heroes will only approach a famous wizard. So if you get a higher Fame total, you get a greater chance of heroes showing up on your doorstep. Also, merchants can show up and then offer you cool items, and some heroes are like legendary and won't show up unless you have a certain amount of fame. You can lose fame if you lose cool buildings of yours or cities. You can get fame by beating up big combat encounters and other wizards. So it's a stat you want to keep and maintain. There's actually a spell in the white mana that gives you just 10 fame for having it running. It's called Just Cause. So that's usually when you want to get started early. Once we get close enough to some of these cities, we can start scouting them. Alright, so we've just got a single spearman defending that city there. Horus introduces himself because we finally have met. Bit full of himself there. So now we can go over to the magic tab, and we can see that he's over here. We're in neutral relation to him right now. You know, you can expect that as you attack him, he'll immediately start getting upset, and then reparations will probably never be made. You can also increase relations with him by giving him gifts or doing trades and such. You can have treaties and defense packs and stuff like that. He's an aggressive personality, so he's going to... he's just going to attack you anytime he thinks he's got the advantage. And his overall goal is to develop new spells. So like he's just going to mostly dirtle a little bit, and then he's going to attack an aggressive personality who wants to dirtle. So it's like not great overall. He's also got a dude. He's got a hero somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Defending his capital. We can't get any stats on him or any of these guys because I don't know reasons. But we could just send our patrol in here, our cockatrice, just go and start some shit if we want to. Yeah, so he has also some magical units here, it looks like. A Guardian Spirit, because he's got a white mana, so that makes sense. He's got a floating island, because he's blue. He can make a big island that your units can get onto, like a big raft. That's kind of fun. I think we're going to get close to his capital. Just hit him. Hit him good. So I'm expecting to see some enemy spells going on here. Maybe not. We can cast some of our own spells though. Let's hit one of these guys with an ice bolt. Throw some extra power behind it. Nice. So just blast that guy from out of nowhere. These guys can't even rush in to attack me because they're on the ground. There's my stunning touch coming into play. We're actually about to lose our cockatrice. I probably should cast web at some point. Nope. Well, our cockatrices aren't that good. But we got in there and dealt some damage. Alright, so if we're going to be attacking Horus here, we might want to get some units or some abilities that might help us out here. Petrify, maybe. Yeah, so ideally, like, we're on different maps, or different islands. His is way bigger than ours. And he's got the ability to summon islands to come over and attack us if he wants. But we've got kind of like, for the moment, a nice little pocket we can build up from and build some armies, and then maybe send them over with water walking or some ships or something. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the whole game. Like, you just kind of take it from there. You can learn bigger, bolder spells. There's actually item creation feats. So, like, maybe we'll just try and get one of those going. Be nice to show you, like, an item from the game, too. So Oh yeah, so there you go. So one of the advantages of fame is that even if you have 0 fame, you can occasionally get these offers too. But instead of hero units, random mercenaries will try and join you. You can be like, you want to spend 100 gold? You get this free unit. Not free, but just like no, don't have to instantaneously just acquire new units. Halberdiers, they negate first strike. Some units have first strike. Sure, we'll just take them. Just plop them in our capital or something. Yep. Well, we don't actually have any units in the capital at all, so that's a good purchase there. Oh, there's another hero. Might increases your hand-to-hand attack, and you get another thrown ability here. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be doing anything with Gunther for a little bit. We'll hire him, just see how it goes. Start ramping up our research, so we can start picking up more spell-like effects going on here. More spell-like effects, just more spells, period. Alright, we'll get you working on a shrine. Well, we'll just buy it outright, actually. I'm lazy, so I'm not gonna wait. Alright, patrol that guy, build, going down here. Gosh, we have a lot of food going, we should get some more units going. Alright, so now we can get ourselves an Alchemist Guild, which gets us closer to the Wizards Guild. We also start producing magical weapons with all the units in the city, so that's pretty nice. University is a big research building that opens up a whole new tier of stuff. So we'll start working on that, I think. Oh, actually, hit done there by accident. Let's see, so a lot of you just start building over here. Well, if we're not going to have any units for a second here, we can increase our production. Chugging along. Okay, so we've got a Mechanics Guild now that we have a University, which is like a more advanced mining guild. We get catapults, they're nice. Bank, just a bigger version of the Merchants Guild. Or the Marketplace. Yeah, let's just get our Alchemist going. I tend to be pretty dirty when I play Master Magic. I haven't played in a while though, but like working down the research path, you can unlock wizards, which are pretty spicy range unit. So I like having them inside the walls of the city. Yeah, Wizards Guild. So you get 8 spell research and mana, and you get to make magicians. Big old building, takes forever. Start on that. And just chew up our gold really quickly. We need to start making banks. Whoops. Don't want to type. Just need to process anything too quickly. Change terrain. So we went from like 20 to like... Oh, still 20. Yeah. We're actually gonna change terrain over here. We can actually start converting this desert. If you cast a change terrain on grassland, you can make a forest, so you can just kind of get the optimal amount of whatever you need in the city. Yep. And you start producing more gold pretty soon here. You unfortunately can't remove Tundra with a change terrain. Alright, move fortress. Let's just move our entire fortress, which can be useful for feeling threatened. Just get Crack's Call because it's just a random cheap spell we can acquire. Oh, we are being attacked, actually. Those, that node there, with the bears in it, decided to just shoot the bears out. They're getting feisty. And so now we're in combat. Alright, let's just send some of these units forward. Zeldron first. We're just gonna wait for them to come to us. They'll attack us once. It gives us an idea of like what we need to retaliate with. Alright. Theria took a good hit there, so we're gonna back her off. Try and even out the damage as much as possible. Yeah, there we go. So now you're seeing over here that our the population is max is like higher because we've been removing some of these deserts. I would totally remove this Tundra if we could, because it's basically just it's worse than desert. It doesn't even have a production bonus, right? But you know, that's the breaks. I just gotta live with it now. Oh, actually, we've been neglecting a thing over here. There's actually a new challenger has decided to try and land on the same island. It's kind of weird that they picked this spot because there's no cities of theirs anywhere nearby. So it's possible they actually are up here. We just can't see them. Oh, and there's another wizard. Gosh, they're really tight packed together. Probably gonna be fighting over each other like in a big way. So, Gaia's Blessing, city enchantment that can just change stuff into deserts, into grasslands, volcanoes, into verdant hills, and 20% chance that corrupt lands return to their natural states. Kind of like a, I don't know, you just drop on a city and it slowly converts the desert and such like that, if you don't want to like cast change terrain like a whole bunch. Sometimes you might not even have access to it. And also you can remove the corruption. That's the corruption part is the biggest part of that, I think, comparatively to just change terrain. Nature Side. So, you can tell, by the way, that I don't even talk about Crack's Call and Nature Side. Really do, because like they're not actually that useful. They have effects, but I've never really gotten into them. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to build up here. Alright, and I think we're going to take like all these guys, and we're just going to go back, get some revenge on those sprites. Alright. Send them in. So, if all things worked out... Oh, no, they still got their bears up there. They just made a copy, essentially. Alright, Zeldron is not doing so hot. It's too bad that they decided to focus there. It's like the advantage of taking regular units in the battle for lots of reasons, right? But like, if you've got targets other than your big cool casters, then that's a big benefit. Alright, so this node here will cancel anything that's not a green magic spell. Zeldron actually has some blue magic on him, because that's his specialty. He has to cast all these with his own mana, though. Look You can see if he had like a heal spell of some kind that we cast on him. Cast Petrifying here. Ice Bolt might be a good choice though. I think we're gonna lose Alderaan. Yeah, maybe he's gone. Alright, this was a ill-informed attempt. We lost a whole bunch of fame. Alright, well, that's a good place there to stop it. If you continue playing the game, you'll notice that there are like magic items and stuff, and you can get into that, and they're alright. I guess it's not a big deal. But that's Master Magic. It's fun. It's pretty old, but you know, you can play this for on DosBox if you can find a copy from like an abandonware website or whatnot. It's actually available on Steam, so I recommend that you acquire it from Steam and give these guys a little bit extra ducats for their, you know, excellent work. So yeah, enjoy, have fun, and catch you in the next one.